You almost ran the red. Oh, I like it. Ran the red. Red. I see what you're doing there. I'm picking up on some of these things now. She's infiltrated my brain. It's fine. Hey, it's Megan. Welcome back to On Writing. If you're new here, I'm a professional writer and writing coach. Today we're taking a highly requested look at the 10-minute version of All Too Well from Taylor Swift's re-recorded Red album. This song was written by Taylor Swift and Liz Rose. Let's see what we can learn about writing and storytelling from this 10-minute song. Buckle up.
I walked to the door with you. The air was cold, but something about it felt like home somehow.
Okay, there's a lot going on in there. So I walked through the door with you. We can infer that she means the door of his sister's house because she says, I left my scarf there at the same place. The air was cold, so that maybe makes you think like it's not very warm and welcoming, but something about it felt like home somehow. So even though it was cold and maybe not the most welcoming, she still felt at home. So that's interesting.
I left my scarf there at your sister's house, and you still got it in your drawer even now.
And you've still got it in your drawer even now. It's kind of surprising that he still has her scarf. So why is it surprising? I don't know. We'll find out, perhaps.
Oh, your sweet disposition and my wide-eyed gaze. We're singing in the car, getting lost upstate.
Okay, oh, I like this. Your sweet disposition and my wide-eyed gaze. That's the classic Taylor Swift signature move right there. By giving us just little pieces of description about this person and herself, and through that we can infer what they're like. So instead of saying, cherry lips, crystal skies, or new money, suit and tie, here we get your sweet disposition. Okay, so already we have a little feeling about this person. And my wide-eyed gaze. Literally, if your eyes are wide, you're able to take in more light. You're able to take in more things around you. You're kind of curious and open, and maybe there's something a little bit youthful or naive about you. We're singing in the car, getting lost upstate. They're having fun together. They're singing to the point where they're getting lost. It's so fun.
Autumn leaves falling down like pieces into place, and I can picture it after all these days.
That's my favorite line so far. First of all, autumn. Perfect timing. Autumn leaves falling down so we have a simile, like pieces into place. I like that because autumn leaves are usually all jagged too, like little puzzle pieces. So the idea of them falling into place, like when you spend time with that picture, it's quite lovely. And I can picture it after all these days. So she's reflecting back on a relationship, maybe on the beginning of it, and that makes me wonder, where are they now?
And I know it's long gone, and that magic's not here no more, and I might be okay.
Wait a second.
Find it all.
Okay, well now we know where she's at. She says, I know it's long gone. So again, a lot of time has passed, and that magic's not here no more. And she says, I might be okay, but I'm not fine at all. So that's interesting. She might be okay, but she's not fine. So you're not okay?
'Cause there we are again on that little town street. You almost ran the red 'cause you were looking over at me.
So again, little town just has a cozy feeling that kind of matches his sweet disposition, her wide-eyed gaze. It just feels very wholesome is the vibe I'm getting. You almost ran the red because you were looking over at me. Oh, I like it. Ran the red. Red. I see what you're doing there. I'm getting there. I'm picking up on some of these things now. She's infiltrated my brain. It's fine. I always admire how she chooses specific little moments to tell the story of a relationship. What you can take away from that when you're writing, think about the tone and the feeling that you want to give your story. So again, like I said, there's sort of something charming, small town, young romance, young love happening in this song. And so if you were writing this song, you'd want to pick out stories, little tiny scenes that have that same feeling. So the idea of you almost ran the red because you were looking over at me, like that's also very sweet and very charming and very cute. It's a whole different feeling from, say, something like from Cruel Summer, where she says, I'm drunk in the back of the car and I cried like a baby coming home from the bar. That's a whole different feeling for a whole different story. So just keep that in mind as you're writing.
Wind in my hair, I was there, I remember it all too well.
Wind in my hair, I was there, I remember it all too well. So these pictures are just stuck in her mind there. She remembers them all too well. So it's almost like I wish I didn't remember them too well, this well.
Album on the counter, your cheeks were turning red.
Turning red.
Be a little kid with glasses in a twin-sized bed.
Okay, oh my. All right, so photo album on the counter, your cheeks were turning red. Again, just those little tiny snippets that tell the story without really giving us all the details. Your cheeks were turning red, so he's embarrassed. They're showing her baby pictures, but then we see, she tells us, you used to be a little kid with glasses in a twin-sized bed. I just think that's a really cute picture. Again, it fits in with the charming, sweet, young love feel of this song.
And your mother's telling stories about you on the t-ball team. You told me about your past, thinking your future was me.
You told me about your past, thinking your future was me. A great play on opposites there. That, again, makes me feel like he no longer thinks his future is her. I don't like where this is going.
You were tossing me the car keys, but the patriarchy, keychain on the ground. We were always skipping town.
You were tossing me the keys, F the patriarchy, keychain on the ground. The keychain was on the ground. So there's a little bit of like rebelliousness perhaps in this. They were always skipping town. He was tossing her the keys. He wasn't the only one driving. It's a little bit of rebellion. Again, giving me the young love vibes.
And I was thinking on the drive down anytime now. He's gonna say it's love. You never called it what it was.
Maybe he never called it what it was because it wasn't love. Oh, you never called it what it was till we were dead and gone and buried. Ooh. Oh no. Are they ghosts? My pain fits in the palm of your freezing hand. Is he dead? Hold up now. Is he dead? I'm just kidding. So until we as a couple were dead and gone and buried, until all this time had passed and it was over for so long, only then did you call it what it was, which was love. Oh man. I don't like this.
We were dead and gone and buried. Check the pulse and come back swearing it's the same. After 3 months in the grave.
Oh snap. You never called it what it was till we were dead and gone and buried. Check the pulse and come back swearing it's the same after 3 months in the grave. Ooh, so this sounds now like an on again, off again type of situation. So you didn't say you loved me until it was done. We were done. But then you checked the pulse. So she's tying that metaphor through. If we were dead, now we're checking the pulse. I like that, tying it together. Come back swearing it's the same after 3 months in the grave. Again, she's tying it through. So I talked a little bit about mixed metaphors in the video I did on Olivia Rodrigo's Get Him Back. This is a great example of a metaphor that is not being mixed. Dead, check the pulse, in the grave. She's using that same metaphor and she's letting it have space. She's not starting with one metaphor and then switching into another one that's not quite the same. And I think that that's personally better writing.
And then you wondered where it went to as I reached for you, but all I felt was shame. And you held my lifeless frame.
So you wondered where it went to. So it, I suppose, being called it what it was. So where the love went to, where the connection went to, as I reached for you. So she's reaching for him. They're trying to rekindle something maybe, but then he's like, oh wait, I don't know if I actually love you. And then all she felt was shame and you held my lifeless frame. So then she feels ashamed and then he's holding her, but it's like now she's not feeling it. Oh, yikes.
And I know it's long gone and there was nothing else I could do, and I forget about you long enough to forget who I needed to.
And I know it's long gone, there was nothing else I could do, and I forget about you long enough to forget why I needed to. Whoa, all right.
Here we are again in the middle of the night.
Oh no.
We're dancing around the kitchen in the refrigerator light.
There we are again in the middle of the night. So there we are again. So yeah, this on again, off again. Oh no, this is no wonder it's 10 minutes long. How many times do they go on again and off again? Oh, we're dancing around the kitchen in the refrigerator light. I like that line. Also, why is the refrigerator open? Because that's the only way you'd get light from the refrigerator, isn't it? Down the stairs, I was there, I remember it all too well.
And there we are again when nobody had to know. You kept me like a secret, but I kept you like an oath. Sacred prayer, and we
way sadder than I thought it would be. Stop it, you guys. Okay, well, we're a third of the way through. There we are again. Oh no. Nobody had to know. Now they're on again, but they're not letting anybody know. Probably because their friends and family are like, y'all just need to let it go and stop doing this back and forth. Okay, but then he kept her like a secret, but I kept him like an oath. Wow, that's great. That's great because these are both things that you keep, and they're both things that have some sort of almost like contract, but a secret is something you maybe don't want to tell people, and you can infer all sorts of reasons why you don't want to tell someone. But she kept him like an oath. It's much more like, I'm vowing to do this, I'm promising this, I'm going to follow through on it no matter what. Sacred prayer, and we'd swear to remember it all too well. So there we get that she kind of followed through on her oath. They swore to remember it all too well, and throughout the whole song she's been saying, I remember it all too well. So she kept her oath, but not him, maybe. Also, more similes. You kept me like a secret, I kept you like an oath. We love it. We love a simile.
Maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much, but maybe this thing was a masterpiece till you tore it all up.
They made a sacred prayer, and they said they would swear to remember it. So they're both kind of saying the same things, but not in the same way. So the fact that she's thinking of it as an oath, he's thinking of it as a secret, then yeah, they're getting lost in translation. They're saying the same things, but they're not understanding each other. Maybe I asked for too much. Maybe this thing was a masterpiece till you tore it up. So there's an uncertainty there of, is this as good as I thought it was, or is it not? Is it actually a masterpiece? Maybe it was, but you tore it up. So I don't know, but maybe I asked for too much. There's a little bit of back and forth. Running scared, I was there, I remember it all too well. Call me up again just to break me like a promise. Oh, I love that simile. You call me up again just to break me like a promise. That ties back to the secrets, the oaths, the promises. It doesn't seem to hold the same weight for him. From her point of view, again, I don't know. What's his point of view?
So casually cruel.
Ooh.
Being honest.
I love this line. So casually cruel in the name of being honest. Oh no. Oh, I like that line quite a lot. So casually cruel in the name of being honest. Oh man. Yeah. So some nice alliteration with casually cruel, alliteration being where you repeat the same consonant sound at the start of subsequent words. Casually cruel. Man, I really like that line. Casually cruel. Like, it's so easy for him. Ooh.
Crumpled up piece of paper lying here, 'cause I remember it.
I'm a crumpled up piece of paper lying there. Oh man, maybe that's where they wrote the oath. The oath and the promise and the sacred prayer was written on that piece of paper, and now they crumpled it up.
They say all's well that ends well, but I'm in a new hell every time you double cross my mind.
They say all's well that ends well, but I'm in a new hell every time you double cross my mind. Okay, come on now, Taylor and Liz. All's well that ends well. Well, okay, I know that her Lover album was written after this, but she uses that same phrase in the song Lover.
All's well that ends well to end up with you.
See, we were just talking about how you take things that other writers have done and put your own spin on it. All's well that ends well. Shakespeare. So it sort of feels a little bit redemptive to use that phrase in that song, where here it was, all's well that ends well, but I'm in a new hell. Every time you double cross my mind. I love that because it's a play on the phrase cross my mind. When you cross my mind, meaning when I think of you, and then you double cross my mind, which is you're betraying my mind. You're betraying me, double crossing. Ooh, yeah, that's good.
But if we had been closer in age, maybe it would have been fine. And that made me want to die.
Said if we'd been closer in age, maybe it would have been fine. Okay, that feels more autobiographical. Tell me what that means. And that made me want to die.
The idea you had of me, who was she? A never needy, ever lovely jewel, whose shine reflects on you.
She's starting to get more reflective. The idea you had of me, who was she? What did this mean? That made me want to die. We're getting more of her internal world. A never needy, ever lovely jewel whose shine reflects on you. Oh no. Oh, Ew, gross. Sir, This is, again, her perspective. So this is what she thinks he thought of her. A never needy ever. So she's never ever needy. A lovely jewel whose shine reflects on you. So she's a treasure, something beautiful, something expensive. He's only interested in her because her shine reflects on him.
Never needy, ever lovely jewel whose shine reflects on you.
The way she sings that, it also kind of sounds like a never needy, ever lovely jewel. So you're never needy and you're ever lovely. You're always lovely. But the way it's written here, it's a never needy ever, comma, lovely jewel. So take that for what you will.
Like we've been in a party bathroom, some actress asking me what happened to you. That's what happened to you.
I feel we're getting more autobiographical now. Now we've moved from the beginning of their romance into now kind of the like tumultuous, maybe the part where everything sort of crumbled.
You who charmed my dad with self-effacing jokes, sipping coffee like you're on a late night show.
You who charmed my dad with self-effacing jokes, sipping coffee like you're on a late night show. Ew, that's so gross. It feels so put on, you know? Oh, yikes.
But then he watched me watch the front door all night, willing you to come. And he said it's supposed to be fun, turning 21.
Oh, man. Oh, goodness gracious. Dad is watching her watch the front door, which I think is sweet, as she's willing him to come. And he said it's supposed to be fun turning 21. Oh, Dad, you're right.
After plaid shirt days and nights when you made me your own, now you mail back my things and I walk home alone.
Ew. I'm so mad at this person. But we don't know his side of the story. If this is all true, I'm not happy with him. Okay, she did her Taylor thing again, where she said, after plaid shirt days, she always uses the clothing. We love it. Also, plaid shirts are usually, like the most common, most well-known plaid shirt you would bring to mind would be a red plaid shirt. So I think that's fun. And nights when you made me your own. Wow, well, that just feels unconsensual. That's great. Now you mail back my things. He can't even have the decency to deliver it in person. And she walks home alone. No, we don't like that. So now we're about at the halfway mark. Whew, take a breath, take a sip of tea. And let's talk about the story so far. Because as a longer song, we get to see sort of a longer narrative and a longer story being told, which is cool. So this whole song so far, she's reflecting on this relationship, right? Starting perhaps from the very first significant moment for her, which is where they walked through the door and she felt at home in his sister's house. And that's huge. And then there's the scarf, of course. But then she remembers all their sweet times together. So driving upstate, puzzle pieces falling into place, you know, him getting distracted looking at her, the wind in her hair. And then we get more into the catalyst moment of what changed everything. Anytime he's going to say it now, he's going to say he loves me, but then you never called it what it was. So she starts the story with a lot of reflection on very specific moments, and then she gets into reflection that isn't as clear what she's talking about. And you know that because she starts using more figurative language. Till we were dead and gone and buried, check the pulse, come back swearing it's the same, after 3 months in the grave. We have to do more work there to infer. But that's how you know it's kind of getting more reflective and less rooted in like the plot, for lack of a better word. So this is actually a great example of something that I like to teach writers who are writing for the mental health benefits of writing, but it's also a great writing technique when you're creating scenes. So you want to have your characters do something, show what's happening, and then have them reflect on it. If you're wondering what that looks like, take a look at this song. Here's the thing that happened. We looked at the photo albums, we went driving, we laughed, blah, blah, blah. And then here's the reflection. You wondered where it went as I reached for you. I felt shame. You would come back swearing at you like you were never going to call it what it was. She's reflecting on what happened. And then there we were again in the middle of the night dancing. So she's giving us another scene. She's giving us more action. So you can see a balance there of action, especially in the beginning, action and then reflection. Here we're getting a bit more into the reflection, but she's reflecting on things that happened. Does that make sense? All right, we're just gonna keep on going.
But you keep my old scarf from that very first week, 'cause it reminds you of innocence and it smells like me.
So she's connecting us back to that first stanza of leaving her scarf at his sister's house. So he still has it because it reminds you of innocence. So that's really satisfying for me because in the whole beginning of the song, I felt like, oh, this feels so sweet and naive and like young love. The fact that that's what the writing brought up in me and that's what she was going for tells me that it's well done. Good job. Good writing. It smells like me. You can't get rid of it. You remember all too well. Oh no. Loved you so. Back before you lost the one real thing you've ever known. And there we were again. Oh no. I think it's funny that there we were again comes up again and again because she's saying she remembers it all too well and she's telling us about all of these memories. It's sort of like she's thinking back on it again and again. Oh, there we are again, and I'm remembering something else about this relationship. So I kind of like that play on words there. Back before you lost the one real thing you've ever known. So there I feel like she's getting a little bit sassy and saying that she's the one real thing he's ever known. That's a big statement. That's a big statement, honey. Okay. It was rare. I was there. I remember it all too well. It was rare. I remember it all too well. Wind in my hair, down the stairs. So she's connecting us back to all of the memories she's already shared and saying, I remember it all too well, which is, yeah, she said she would. And I was never good at telling jokes, but the punchline goes, I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age. Okay, so we're getting a little more autobiographical. How can I tell? Because these specifics are so specific that they are probably from her own life. I was never good at telling jokes, but the punchline goes, I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age. Okay, so he said he wanted her to be older, but then he only goes for younger women, so all right. From when your Brooklyn broke my skin and bones, I'm a soldier who's returning half her weight. From where your Brooklyn broke my skin and bones. Where your Brooklyn broke my skin and bones. I'm not sure what that means. Y'all will have to tell me. I'm a soldier who's returning half her weight. She's returning half her weight or she's returning half her weight. I'm assuming it's she's worn down. Like she has half her weight on her. And did the twin flame bruise paint you blue? Just between us did the love affair maim you too? And did the twin flame bruise paint you blue? Interesting. There's that opposite color to red, blue. Twin flames are like, it's sort of like a soulmate, but stronger. Like a person who has the same spirit as you in a sense. Like their inner flame is twin with your inner flame. It can be a really tumultuous relationship, a really tumultuous connection, but it's very passionate and very soulmate feeling, but not necessarily someone you're going to stay with forever. The twin flame bruise. So this just came together and then left with a bruise. Did it paint you blue? So were you saddened by this bruise that you got because of our passionate relationship and connection? Just between us, did the love affair maim you too? So she's like, did you feel any sadness about this? Because I remember it. Because in this city's barren cold, I still remember the first fall of snow. In the city's barren cold, cities are really not barren. You know, there's a lot going on in cities. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of buildings. It's not barren. But for the city to feel barren and cold, you have to be pretty lonely and pretty hurt, I think. So I still remember the first fall of snow and how it glistened as it fell. I remember it all too well. Well, that's such a low note. All too well. Whoa. I still remember the first fall of snow and how it glistened as it fell. I remember it all too well. So maybe he brought her some sense of like goodness in the midst of the barren city. And then let's see, she repeats that. Wind in my hair, down the stairs, sacred prayer. Wind in my hair, down the stairs, sacred prayer. It was rare. Wow, okay, so she just repeats that. Let's listen to the end. Down the stairs, I was there, I was there. Sacred prayer, I was there. Ooh, and then she ends saying, it was rare, you remember it. So saying I was there, I remember it, I remember it. It's almost like this didn't mean anything to the guy, because she has to ask him, like, did our breakup even hurt you? I think you remember it, but do you? I was there. I was there. It's almost like he wiped his memory of her. That's so interesting. Okay. Whew, man, that was a long song. You know what's interesting about this to me? This could be reaching too far, but bear with me. The beginning of this song reminds me more of Taylor's early writing style. It's telling one picture after another. So it's like, I was riding shotgun with my hair undone. I walked through the door with you. The air was cold, but I felt at home. I left my scarf there. And then as Taylor has progressed as a songwriter, at least the songs that I've looked at, she's gone from being very concrete with her storytelling to being much more, whatever the opposite of concrete is. She's gone from being more concrete and storytelling with her songs to hinting at things a lot more. Like in Cruel Summer, you really infer the entire dynamic of their relationship. It's not ever said explicitly. I feel like I'm kind of seeing that progression in how this song is written. I'm gonna have to listen to it again, but we get a lot of those specific concrete pictures at the start, even like the photo album on the counter, yada yada. But then as the song goes on, we have to infer a lot more of what she's talking about. We have to put the pieces together ourselves. And I feel like that reflects her later writing style. So this is kind of cool in that it sort of feels like it reflects her own journey of growing up in how she writes. Can someone tell me what "from when your Brooklyn broke my skin and bones" means? So maybe like she's in his city now, you know, he made the city feel like home to her, so it was his Brooklyn, but it broke her skin and bones. Tell me what you guys think about that. I'm sure you have theories. Okay, well that was All Too Well, Taylor's version, 10-minute version from the vault. Oh man, we made it through. Good job, guys. Good job. I'm proud of us. It was a fun fall song. Was it fun? So what can we take away from this song? Number one, the difference between showing and telling, being more specific with your details versus leaving more room for inference. And then number two, keeping a good balance of action and reflection. So she started out with a lot more action and then got mostly into reflection. So that's one way to go. Or you could do a more balanced action and reflection. So a couple lines of action or a full scene of action and then have your character reflect on it. It's a really, really simple strategy for keeping your writing balanced because you want your readers to know what's going on, but you also want them to know how it's impacting your character. So that's a really great kind of little mini case study on how to do that. And then we get to see a cool transition of her writing style throughout the song. So that was cool. Thanks for suggesting that. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.